This week, it's the Idiot's Guide to the Metaverse and Web 3.0.
The metaverse is like headsets and then controllers, and you're meant to put them on, and then it's like you're in the game itself, but you're not actually.
So, Zuckerberg puts out a weird, creepy film with Nick Clegg and people floating around in space and talks about the metaverse and rebrands his company, and now the word is everywhere, as is the term Web 3.0, and the two seem to be being used interchangeably. Is that right? We'll come back to it. It's all rather reminding me of the mid-2000s when my lovely flatmate Pete said that social networks were going to be a really big thing and I probably ought to invest in them. And I told him he was boring. Keen not to revisit such a hopeless decision, I decided it was a great week to bring in Chris Rempel and Philippe Matthews to know what it is we should all understand. And my first question to them is, what is the metaverse? The metaverse. The metaverse.
I am not a lizard.
Metaverse is kind of in the same bucket as Web3. And so what Web3 means is it's the internet that we've come to know, except it's built on blockchain that is kind of a central database that a bunch of other internet apps are using. Any digital experience or platform for that matter, where your identity and the things that you own and the things that you've done can exist persistently through one medium, one platform, one experience to the next. A simple example of this, when you log in with Facebook on another website, that's actually a metaverse action. That's an example of something that happens in the metaverse of websites, for instance. Facebook is looking at Fortnite and Roblox and these worlds, and they're understanding that that is now where social media is happening. So social connection between especially Gen Z, millennials, etc., it's happening in these virtual spaces increasingly. When people kind of jump to Ready Player One or they jump to VR or whatever, that's accurate. Yes, the metaverse includes 3D worlds or virtual worlds or what have you, but really it's more anything digital that recognizes you and your stuff.
My take from this is that Web 3.0 is actually the really big change. And the reason is that it gives us access to blockchain technology. What does that mean? Well, it's the technology that's used for crypto, and what it essentially does is to produce unique identities. So each of us in the metaverse, in Web 3.0, can have a unique identity.
You're all individuals! Yes, we're all individuals! I'm not.
Imagine that at the moment you're operating on the internet and you're trying to build your business or professional profile, and maybe you go onto Facebook and you get loads of followers and you get really popular content, and then you realize that Facebook is just for grannies and granddads and actually it's not reaching your market. So you flip over to Instagram. You have to start all over at the beginning, your followers can't find you, you've got to build up your content, and then you realize that Instagram's really for interior designers. So then you flip again into TikTok, and then at some point you're desperately running around in circles trying to update all of those different platforms from a professional or a personal perspective. The beauty of being able to use blockchain is that you will have one identity and you will be able to transfer that between different platforms. So that means you are not beholden to all these big technology companies that are trying to control the data. The sound of pennies dropping as you realize why Mark Zuckerberg is trying to own the whole thing before it even starts. So what does that actually mean in a professional sense?
Computer load up celery man, please.
For most companies, part of management's role right now is basic fluency. It's just discovery. It's the terminology. If someone says NFT, or they say blockchain, or they say Web3, can you confidently, in a couple sentences, explain what that is? And then can you also think about your legal team with its trademarks? Can you think about HR? How fast did even traditional companies switch to Zoom and to asynchronous chat like Slack or Teams since the pandemic, right? There's a lot of people that were slow to it, and then there was no option. Now it's expected. What happens if 5 years from now, the tech is sophisticated enough and actually the benefits of doing a work meeting by just popping on glasses that Apple released, maybe it's still not as good as face-to-face, but it's a lot better than just looking at each other through a screen. That feels obvious that it's coming. There are no experts right now. We're all trying to predict where this is going, but just get basic fluency going and start thinking about what are the teams that you need to be building in a few years' time.
So listen, it's all evolving. I know Pete's going to call me later and tell me that I've totally misunderstood something or missed something really significant. Some of you are too. We're going to build this knowledge. We're going to keep track of it. We're going to be sending out the newsletter next week. Lots of links to articles, podcasts, and things that I found really helpful to understand the metaverse and Web 3.0. You need to be signed up to armstrongpartners.co.uk to get that, so make sure that you are. Next week, I'm going to be talking to Kate Nash, OBE, about Purple Space and how we can do more to support colleagues with disabilities in our organisations. See you then.